Hey, what's good? We are back. Another episode of the Paul Picker Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. My next guest that I'm about to bring you on is an absolute veteran of the bare knuckle fight world. He has a pro boxing record of 1-0, a BKFC record of 6-2-1. He's the number 3 featherweight and the number 5 ranked lightweight. Let's bring him in, Howard HD Davis.
What's up, man?
HD, how you doing, man?
I'm good. You?
I'm great. I'm great, man. I want to start here with a two-part question. What were you doing before bare knuckle, and how'd you get into bare knuckle?
What I was doing before bare knuckle, I was doing bare knuckle.
Okay.
I was just doing it without pay. I was doing it for the wrong reasons. It was an outlet for anger and certain things happen. How I grew up, we wasn't taught to run and go get guns and knives. Like we settle our issues with our hands. So my mom brought me up that way, my cousins and stuff like that. So it stuck with me throughout my whole life. And I think I've just been a natural born fighter, like of just everything, of life, of just everything, man.
That's the good old days when it was all about your hands and not guns.
Yeah,
So,
the golden era.
so how'd you get into doing it organized with the BKFC?
I had a coach that he had a bridge to BKFC, and we had a fighter that was already like kind of prepped to do it. Jared K. Gotti,
Uh huh.
my ex stablemate, and he started first. I was trying to go the pro boxing route, but it takes money and having support. And, I didn't have that. I was a grown man already. I didn't have much amateur experience in boxing because I started late. So I took the bare knuckle route, and it's turned out pretty well for me. I appreciate all the people that's helped me get this far. BKFC as a organization. Dave Feldman for giving me the opportunity, and I'm trying to be one of the best to ever do it.
Well, watching your highlights yesterday, you look like a natural boxer. You definitely do.
Yeah,
Now, you had to fight with Jimmy Rivera. I want to start there.
yeah.
So I was watching the highlights again yesterday. Was that fight to you? Do you think that fight was as close as they said it was as the results?
It definitely was close, and even Jimmy noticed. Me and Jimmy talked about it, but I went into the fight messed up. Couldn't really use my dominant hand as I wanted to because I had I think it was like a few tears in it through the ligament and through the
Oh man.
I had a few ruptures in the sacral bands, and I really wasn't supposed to fight that fight. But Jimmy being Jimmy and me being the up and comer in BKFC, an opportunity to fight a former UFC number one contender, I took the risk, against the doctor's wishes and everything, and it sucked because Jimmy, I wanted to give Jimmy like everything I could inside that ring. Pause. But yeah, man, and I really couldn't. But he had really good timing. He had good punches. He was really heavy the night of the fight, and I can't take nothing away from Jimmy. Jimmy fought really really good. I feel like he should beat Kai if he fights the right way. If he fights Kai like how he fought me, he'll win. So, but Kai is a different type of fighter. How he comes in with his style and the grappling and the weird angles and the switching. You got to give credit where credit's due. Like he's won his fights with that type of style. So, the fight with Jimmy, it was close, and it probably would have been close even if my hand was good because Jimmy had the tools. Jimmy had the experience. Like I fought Jimmy my third professional fight. Jimmy got like fucking
Yeah.
30 fights, bro. Jimmy, you know what I'm saying? Like I was at a big disadvantage. Like a lot of people had me getting knocked out, and don't get it wrong. Like Jimmy can hit. Like he's probably hit me the hardest out of everybody. To be honest, probably has hit me the hardest. So yeah, it was to me it was a close fight. Regardless, even with the injury, I did drop him with the right hand, but it wasn't like how I really wanted to like hit him with the right hand, but it kind of sucked that sometimes us fighters we go through camps and stuff and injuries happen and we don't want to let down the fans or the organization, so we go through the fight and people may call it an excuse, but I actually got the paperwork of me getting the MRI and everything because I kept getting X-rays. I thought I had a break or something, but I
Yeah.
never got an MRI in my life. I finally got an MRI like probably a week and a half before the fight, 2 weeks, and my shit was all tore up, bro. And after the fight, my hand was like, it should look like my hand looked animated, bro. And it wasn't a regular like BKFC. Your hands are swollen. Like my hand was like double, triple the size of how my hand looked. Like it was crazy, bro. And I had to get
Was
surgery right after that.
seeing how some people been quitting lately, I commend it. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you too injured to be fighting and you still fighting. Now, did you look at that knowing that you were injured going to that fight and as close as it was, did you look at it more as a win or a loss?
Uh my hand hasn't gotten back to 100% because I probably did that. If I'd have got the surgery rather than fought that fight,
Mm-hmm.
maybe my hand would be a little bit closer to 100%. But because I fought on it and pushed the boundaries, I don't know. Longevity wise, it probably wasn't the best thing because I didn't get the win. I got a draw, and then now I got to deal with my hand not always, So it's
Mm-hmm.
like I can't really say like it was a great experience to fight Jimmy. Like I said, he has accolades in the UFC and as a fighter overall. So it's good, I guess. But if I got the one, it would have been better. But because this is a draw, I can't really say that it was 100% worth it.
And even with the Louis Lopez, they called the fight earlier. I saw an interview where you were saying you really felt like you could have went longer in that fight. And I think that's another thing where you just got to commend because you see guys get in there and quit.
Yeah, man, it's a hard sport. Like my last fight, I fought Sean. Sean was 3-1. Sean got power. Sean hit me with a overhand right as I threw I think a jab. He threw a counter, but he threw it like his overhand right was like he was already shorter than me, but his overhand right was really an overhand right. Like he ducked his head and just swung, and it hit me, and like that shit left a big gash on my eyebrow. And they didn't they looked at it, but it wasn't no like, oh, we're gonna stop the fight. It wasn't no like giving me a warning. Like for the Louis Lopez fight, the cut was on my eyelid. It was bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
I was still fighting. Neither one of us knocked each other down. From the first round stats, I clearly landed more, threw more, was more active, so I won that round. And we got back to the corner. They cleaned up the blood and stopped everything. And out of nowhere, it's like we come out second round. They say, "Oh, total on. I'm ready." Like I'm smiling. Like I dap his hand. I'm like, good shit. I just came off for like a 6-month layoff after the Jimmy fight from the surgery. So that's my first time coming back after an injury. So I'm getting my feet wet again. So I'm ready. I'm like, okay, let's go. They call me over and they throw their hands up and I'm like, they ask me, you okay? I'm like, yo, I'm fine. They like, and they still throw their hands. I'm like, bro, I've seen worse cuts in the same area, in different areas, and y'all let the fight go on. I see people meat hanging out their fucking face, and they let the fight go on. I'm the number one contender, and then this is the time you guys choose to do this, and then right after that, he gets propelled to a title fight. Like, damn, bro. So that kind of
Yeah,
just like my whole course of going to the title or having the title first got changed because of that shit, because of the Louis situation. Louis didn't even have a good record. Louis came to BKFC, lost to Rusty Crowder, and then he won his next fight. So he was 1-1, and he beat me. He was 2-1, and he fights Kai for the belt. It's like when I was number one and I was undefeated, there were no talks of the belt or it being a title fight. As soon as some crazy shit happened, that Dave Feldman didn't even like the call because that night
yeah.
the doctor was stopping a lot of fights early because shit. He didn't even like the call, and out of nowhere, boom, title fight. It was like, oh man, like it just sucked, bro. It
They
sucked to see because I put in a lot of work and I fought everybody they put in front of me. I didn't choose. I came in, I fought Rusty Crowder for my first fight. He had like fucking 7 fights. I have no experience. Like I was fighting everybody. So it is what it is, though, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, they could have let that go longer because when Ryan Reber was getting the shit beat out of him, excuse my language,
My
and
dog
he
got that
came back
heart
to
though.
win. I mean, that I almost going back to watch it again. I still knowing the results, I still felt like he was going to lose that match.
Man, that
Knowing the
man
results,
Reaper
but
got that heart. He let his
yeah, he
nuts
got a crazy heart. Yeah.
hang.
Now I was watching your highlights a lot yesterday. I noticed a lot of guys they like the bum rush soon as the bell starts. It doesn't
Yeah,
seem like you do that too much. It seems like you're more of a smart, calculated fighter. Am I
yeah.
right to say that?
I try to be. The only fight that I wasn't like that, I can honestly say, was the Louis fight. The Louis fight, I came out way too aggressive. A lot of Louis punches. Now Louis has crazy accuracy. Like I was running into Louis punches. Like I just wanted to fight. Louis had been talking shit for like the past year or two, and like it just was so annoying. I had to block him. Like,
Yeah.
and I finally got the opportunity to fight him, but it just wasn't the right matchup. In my mindset and me coming off that injury, like like I said, I've never come off an injury and had to fight professionally, so it was a lot to get used to, and I needed a round to get warmed up. So once I done came into his punches and we fighting like, and kudos to him. He was throwing a good jab, he was throwing his punches, but I literally got better defense than that. Like I was running into his punches, just trying to land my punches. Like, yeah, I like basically I felt your power. Yeah, it's not shit. Let me keep going. What happens? Boom, I get cut, and it just bullshit after that. I can't control what a doctor does. So on my record, I have a TKO loss, and I never touched the fucking mat. I never quit. I never none of that. But because this doctor stoppage, because the doctor came in and intervened like I was fucking dying, even though I came out second round and the cut that was open wasn't bleeding. The cut man that
Yeah.
I had that night cleaned that shit up good. No blood was dropping from there. Like my shit was just bleeding all over the ring nonstop. Like it wasn't even that, bro. So it's like we've seen dudes with whole bloody faces, whole outfits that's white turned red, and like I get a cut and they like, oh no, he can't continue. So it's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
It
even
sucks,
like
bro.
Melanie Shaw and Brittany Hart. I mean, her
Yeah,
whole joint
man.
was swollen and bloody, tooth flying out, and they let that go the whole distance, which the female fights usually do go the distance. But
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
I can give you an example. That same night we fought, Palomino and Tom Scholes fought, and I think eventually they stopped his fight too, but they gave him more rounds. Like, and his meat was hanging out his eye, bro. Like you can see the cut, and then the meat was hanging out, and it was almost in the same spot as mine, or exactly the same spot. But I guess because it was a title fight, it let it like continue. But it's like,
yeah.
and you can't be biased like that, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like you could at least gave me another round. Y'all didn't even come to me and say, yeah, we may stop this, or we're gonna give you a warning. They just kept looking at it and say, hey, protect this more, or we're gonna stop this next round. They didn't say none of that, bro. He come out second round, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling better now. I done felt this hits. Okay, I know I gotta protect this out. Let's go. As soon as I get ready, they get us on the line, and they say knuckle. They actually said knuckle up, and then they called the time immediately and called me over. I said, oh shit, bro. I said, oh shit. But hey, that's my fault, man. I was too head first. That's on me. I can only blame myself.
So you got the chance to fight Kai Stewart. I'm watching
Yeah,
it again last night.
yeah.
It seems like an exhausting match. I mean, Kai was just going at you nonstop, man.
It
What was
was.
that match like?
That match was very hard for me. Honestly, I went through a lot during that camp, during that time, last year and that time, and it probably wasn't the best time to fight Kai. Cause again, this shit sucks, bro. If you go back and look, each time I had a loss, I had a surgery right before that. Before I fought Louis, I had a surgery on the right hand. Before I fought Kai, I got a screw put in my hand because the fight before that, I knocked the dude out with an uppercut and snapped the bone of my shit, and I was out the whole time. So it's like every time that I come and I don't look like myself, before that I have a surgery. So it probably wasn't the best route to fight for a belt right after coming out of surgery, but it was like either fight or maybe you may lose this title shot, or if you fight a warm up fight to get your feet back wet and you end up losing to get hurt, we're gonna move on from you. So I had those choices. It was like they kind of had me in like a pinch, bro. And being me, I'm like, okay, fuck it. Everybody asked me how your hand feel, and regardless if it felt good or not, I just had to push through it and keep training. So I got in some really good shape. And I was, doing my thing. I went all the way to Utah, up by Montana where he's at, high altitude. Wasn't out there long enough. There was so much shit going on in that camp that I didn't do right because I didn't prepare right. My team, it was their first time having a championship fight. Just got signed with a new management team. That was their first time having a fighter fly out in a different altitude, different states. So that's my first time fighting out of Florida. So it was a lot to take on in those moments to go and fight him. Like, so it was so much more before the fight, and then to get in the fight, and this motherfucker's nonstop. He's fighting. He's doing his thing, bro. He got his own style. He got dirty boxing, but bro, I'm getting low blow. The ref not calling no points. The Kai's literally not even throwing a punch, literally charging into me with his fucking head, hit me in my neck, and like juggernauts in the crowd going crazy. Everybody's like, how's that legal? Like it's not even fighting at that point. So it was a lot to get adjusted to. But I guess that could have been his plan and his coach's plan because they probably felt like in my mind I didn't want to break my hand again. And if I do, it'll be me trying to counter off a shot and him charging it with his head, and I can't see his fucking face. So I'm trying to line up the uppercut or counter right hand, but all I see is the top of your fucking head or your forehead. There's not much to really aim for and hit. So it was a good game plan if that was their game plan because he don't usually fight people like that. Like he just fought Brian and he basically outboxed him. If you watch that fight, it wasn't he didn't fight Brian the same way he fought me. If he would have fought
Nah, yeah,
me
you're
that
right.
way, yeah, if he would have fought me that way and tried to box me, I would have fucked him up. But because he fought me how he fought me and kept it close and just kept ramming me, and that's what they wanted to see in Utah, I guess, because even though he was doing that, I was fighting back in the clinch and throwing just as many punches as he was. And not too long ago, I posted the stats for that. They had Kai 42 or 45 for clinch strikes, and they had me 9 for 12. So he was at like 100% damn near, and I was high too. But it was like, if you watch that fight, he did not land that many fucking clean clinch strikes, bro. Like it's all the times I'm spinning out, I'm breaking up, I'm throwing punches. I'm throwing punches as he's throwing, and I'm blocking a lot of shots. But it's like they were just, it was definitely Team Kai over there. I'm not gonna lie to you,
Yeah, what
but
you're saying makes
you
a lot
know,
of sense because when
yeah,
El Gallo seems like his style was kind of like how Kai was fighting you. Like he's just coming at you,
yeah,
and he's got that,
yeah,
that right that just when it lands, I mean, it's lights out and
yeah,
whatnot. And and he doesn't seem like Kai, even Kai was saying when I interviewed him that he wasn't really a boxer, that he's got that, it's really just that punching power
yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah,
Um,
Gallo a dog. He got his own
he
style.
is.
Like it's different.
I like El Gallo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's different from Kai. Kai got more of a. It's technical. It's dirty, but it's technical in its own sense. Gallo has his own style, and it's more of like I'm just gonna get your ass out of there, regardless of how it look.
yeah,
But it's not like overly sloppy. Like he got some tech to it too. But like Kai shit is like you can tell him and his trainer like practice on how they was gonna shoot like against me. It's like we almost had an MMA match because the nigga was like, I don't know, I mean, nigga.
well, I think that's the wrestling in him, right?
Yeah,
He's kind
yeah,
of bringing that wrestling.
yeah. Like man, like I don't know. He's shooting. He was shooting for me, bro. Like, and I'm not trying to like stop a takedown. I'm trying to line up a punch, and it's hard to line up a punch when all you can see is the top of a motherfucker head and their forehead. Like it is hard. People are like, why you didn't throw the uppercut? I'm like, I did, and when I did, one time it landed good, but I was like, after I was already exhausted and like, bro, like it was so like I said, I don't even want to talk about it, but Kai know what was going on during that camp, or he found out when he did, and he used it to his advantage, regardless if it was from people that lived by me in my city, ex people that I used to be associated with. It was a very dirty game going on for them to like, okay, we can't beat him in the physical aspect and him being longer and taller. We gonna fuck his mind up and make him, we gonna kind of try to take the fight out of him before the fight, and they definitely succeeded. And that's one thing I hang my head on because I had my family come out there. I trained really hard, bro. I trained really hard. Despite the injury I just had, I trained really hard through all of that shit. I was up there running in the mountains in the cold. I hate the fucking cold, bro. Like I took all the risks, and like they still played it dirty. But it's boxing, man. It's the fight game. I guess there's no rules in it, as some people say. But I have honor. I'm not finna bring nobody family into it, nobody kids, nobody character, or any type of accusations that aren't clear and true. I'm not gonna use that shit to like, I don't do that, bro. When you see I'm at the press conference, I'm saying a little shit about him. I'm not bringing his girl into it. His girl was there. I'm not bringing his mom into it. I'm not that type of guy. I mean, everybody ain't like me though, so I can't expect everybody to be me. But I was definitely shocked by the actions that happened before the fight, and right during the fight before it happened. Like I didn't expect that from Kai, even though he has already done that with Louis Lopez. If you go back and look, so he kind of has
Uh-huh.
a track record of doing like little like shiesty stuff like that. But
Yeah.
with me, it was totally false, and it was sick how like people was coming at me in my life and my family and like just doing a lot, and I just try to give it to God and stay focused, bro. Like, but it was definitely hard. It's
Now I
definitely hard.
noticed you're definitely a sportsman. You got sportsmanship. Even when you take the low blows, the cheap hits, I always see you shaking hands. You're very sportsman like. What's the rumblings about? the Jake Paul beating Mike Perry, man, in the BKFC. Like Connor posted that thing. I know I said I felt like BKFC would be upset that he lost, but then I didn't expect Connor to post that. Like, is there any validity to that, you think?
I don't know. I don't. Hopefully not. I mean, I know. I just found out by looking into that Mike Perry is creating his own fighting promotion. So I
Oh,
don't know if
so
that.
that's what it's more about.
Yeah, I guess
That's
because
what it's more about.
yeah, so he's
Yeah.
creating his dirty boxing thing, and I guess I don't know if BKFC doesn't like it or just Connor doesn't like it, and it's kind of like trickling down in that aspect. Like, okay, now you lost on our, now you lost with our face, our being our face, on top of now you creating a promotion. So maybe they feel away about it. I mean, but
Yeah.
Mike doing what he's doing. He's trying to get his money for his family, man. Like this fighting shit don't last forever. Mike
You're
isn't the
right.
youngest, but he takes a lot of damage. He fights. He entertains the fans.
He
So
does. Yep.
they like he's the king of violence for a reason, regardless if they want to say Jake Paul is now. Like they went and fought.
Nah, I
They
ain't
went and
giving him
fought.
that.
Yeah, they went and fought a boxing match. Like
Yeah.
Jake boxes. That's what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Like Mike is, UFC, a little boxing background, and then bare knuckle. Like it's different. Like people don't understand the difference it is from boxing and bare knuckle. Like I just did the team combat league, bro, and it's a difference when you're in those smaller gloves and how you turn over your punches and how the power feels and how it is
Yep.
totally different. Like a lot of bare knuckle people won't make it in boxing, and a lot of boxers won't make it in bare knuckles. So that's why it's two different lanes for a reason. But Mike didn't do bad, man. It just he just lost to a better guy that night.
Yeah.
That's it.
I said I thought he wouldn't be the face no more. And I do know from inside sources that BKFC, when you go outside of the sport, they don't like for you to lose.
Oh no, not
They
even
they
he.
hate that. They when you come back, you like low man on the totem pole once you come back because you
Yeah,
don't went over here and got beat, and they don't. I know they don't like that, because
yeah,
I used to produce all the Circle of Kings content before we had a kind of falling out. But shouts out to Knuckletown official and Big Face doing their
yeah,
thing. But
yeah.
I knew Josh Chassis and he would give us a lot of insights of what the rumblings would be. So and then of course I interviewed Redneck Mandel and I know
Yeah.
he's pissed off because he wanted Mike Perry before this,
Yeah. He
not
won the fight,
after.
right? Yeah, he
Yeah,
won the
he
fight.
been
Yeah,
wanting
he
Mike
been.
forever. And now I know partially it's because Mike Perry beat Redneck back in the days in the MMA. And I know
Oh,
that's kind
I
of
don't
probably
think I even know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was doing some research. They fought back in the MMA back in the days. I
Uh,
forgot to ask Redneck about it, but I know that's partially the reason why Redneck wants to get his hands on him because
yeah,
Mike Perry won that MMA fight back in the days. And plus, you beat, Mike Perry being the face and you don't got a belt. That's
yeah.
another thing I ain't gonna lie, I do have an issue with that. But that's another topic for another
Yeah,
day.
you know how it is though, man. It's all about what sells. Mike
Yeah,
Perry is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
known worldwide. He's a great guy. He
Yeah,
got a great
yeah.
personality. He's a dog. So you want to push that agenda and get the fans going and people come out for Mike, bro. Mike get on the card.
They
It's gonna
do.
like damn near sell out. You know how it is, bro. But it's business. It's fighting. It's the best fighters. Like Mike got an undefeated record in BKFC, so it's not like he's like losing and they're doing it. It's not a bad move, but I definitely get it. I get it to an extent.
I got a couple more questions, and then we're gonna let you go.
All right,
Does
appreciate it.
Shaq like one of your sponsors still?
Yeah, Shaq is sponsoring me for them up and coming fight September 13th at the Hard Rock.
How'd that opportunity come about where Shaq became a sponsor?
Nah, it's just crazy. Like I've always been a diehard Lakers fan, bro. Like that's the only reason I probably like basketball. I watch basketball. It's just Kobe and Shaq, bro. So to have him sponsor me and it to be random, like yo, it just happened on
Yeah,
Instagram one day. Like nobody connected me. Nobody, nothing, bro. I just like reached out to him one day and like I think I tagged him in the video and like he reposted. I'm like, oh shit, like
oh man.
yo, Shaq reposted the video and then like it started happening a few more times and I don't even say anything in here. We
Yeah,
posted or we'll just be talking about little things. Like I've had conversations and everything. Like I literally have like Shaq's number. Like I can call him, bro. So it was
yeah,
like we just was like talking and like I'm telling him like, oh yeah, and I never like asking anybody for money, bro, especially not a person of that stature and the person that
yeah,
gives back, like how he gives back. So yeah, even though I know he can do it, I just said, if you got any sponsors or people that you can, reach my name out to and get me some, sponsorships or like help me get some basically in a sense. And He's just like, "Oh, how much is the sponsor?" And I told him, and he just sent the money, and he sponsored me. And I was like, I couldn't believe it because it happened at such like at a random time and a time that I needed it, and it was just like that's God, bro, just aligning
Yeah.
me with the people that need to be aligned with me and me, being next and close to somebody that great, somebody I idolize, because like that's Shaquille O'Neal, bro, like that's Shaq,
Everybody
bro, like
loves Shaq. Everybody loves Shaq,
every
dude.
yeah, because he's a great person. Like
Great human
I
being.
literally,
Great human being.
yeah, I literally see him just do stuff out the kindness of his heart, and it's like that's why when I did tell him about sponsor, I didn't ask him for anything. I didn't ask him, directly. I said, can you put my name in some rooms and see if some people want to get their brand out there, want to sponsor a fighter, and he took it upon himself to do it, and that was big, bro. Like I said, all blessings to God. I can't make
And
up
he's
the
a
path
great
and the journey I'm on.
businessman. It makes sense, I think, for
Yeah,
Shaq too, because BKFC blowing up like it is.
yeah,
He's a businessman. I mean, every commercial he does, he's invested into those companies.
yeah.
So he's
Smart.
truly, truly smart.
No,
Next fight. Who's your next fight?
I'm gonna be in that dancing with the legendary James Brown. Yeah,
That's who you fighting, James Brown.
yeah.
And when is that?
It's gonna be September 13th.
September 13th. And
Yep.
where's that? What let me pull up the website. They already put
Hard
that
Rock
on the website.
Casino. It's gonna be the Hard Rock Casino.
Oh, Hard Rock Casino again. Oh man, they that is the go-to spot for BKFC fights for what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that shit is definitely lit. It's
Is that going
definitely
to
lit.
be on the Reber and the Redneck
Yes, sir.
card? Oh man, that's going to be another stat card, man. It seems like all those cards are super stacked.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yep. Well, before we let you go, anything you want to shout out?
Uh Shout out to God first, man, for waking me up this morning, for waking you up, waking everybody up.
Appreciate it.
Big blessings to everybody that support me, that support fighters, that support anybody that's chasing the dream, and everybody just keep doing what you're doing, stay on a positive path, you know, help each other out, show love rather than hate, and shout out to all my sponsors, Shaq, G Exhaust, Abe, Alon Spine, All In, Demesman and Dover. I got so many more. Prime IV, Forever Young IV, Inkaholic. They be running. I hate when I do sponsorship shout outs because it's like it's so many, bro. Like if I forgot any and you were watching this, don't get mad at me. Just hit me up and say, "HG, say us next time." Oh, got a new sponsorship, fast food restaurant. I don't think I can consider it fast food because you can sit down and eat there and it's amazing. It's better than fast food. Savvy Sliders, located in Broward County, Florida, on Commercial. One of the best food places. One of my favorite. You guys tap into there. Appreciate them for the sponsorship. Appreciate you for the time, bro. Thank you so much.
All right, man. I appreciate you for doing the interview. As soon as I get off here, I'm gonna start clipping up some clips, man. You know I support anything you posting and doing, man.
Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, bro. God bless.
You too. You have a nice day, man.
You too, bro. Thank you.
All right, peace. Well, there it is. HD Davis. He'll be fighting James Brown September 13th at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino and Cafe, Hollywood, Florida. Of course, you got Reber versus Blas. You got Redneck versus King Mo. It's going to be another stat card as usual, and it's going to be sold out as usual. And once again, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Paul Pickett Podcast. And I'm out. Peace.